right, we're back. We're back with more drumming and more chatting here from the drum room. All right, let's see how this goes. We're just going to dive right in, do some playing. All right, feel free to post questions, post some comments. Let's talk about drumming. Let's do some drumming first, though. Okay. All right. Here we go. Welcome to the stream, folks. My name's Steve Holmes. We're drumming here from Los Angeles. We're trying to drum anyway. That's the goal, is to try, right? We keep going, try to get some momentum, try to explore different ideas. And if we get to a bad place, then you got to stay there, right? Stay there and keep working it out. So sorry if it's a little choppy. We're doing the best we can here with the gear we got. So let's see, we've got about 30 folks. That's not bad. Would certainly pack this room. All right, so we're going to go back over the comments here. See if any folks have any questions or want to chat about anything. Thanks for hanging out. Let's see. The homie, greetings from Tampa, Florida. Nice. Man, Florida sounds nice. Pocket Man, hey Steve, wanted to ask what splash that is. Thanks for the inspiration. Yeah, I always want to remind myself to like start by talking about the gear, because folks are always asking like what gear it is, and I think that's one of the benefits of the stream thing. It's like you can just stop and, you know, just show the gear. This is a, I'll show you if I can get it off this thing. It's an A custom. Here we go. Pardon me. A custom EFX. This is a 10-inch. 10-inch A custom EFX. I like it because it's like a splash, but not exactly, you know. It's got the cool holes, and this is also cool for like stacking on different things. If indeed that's what you're asking about. If you're asking about this thing, this little stack thing, I feel like I talk about this every stream. Folks are always asking about it. This is a 10-inch trash former, okay, but there's something underneath of it. Let's talk about this. All right, here's exactly what this is. So this is a 10-inch trash former with, underneath of it, a 8-inch A custom splash. All right, that's what's going on here. All right, I like it. It's got a short kind of sweet staccato thing going, and it forces me to try to come up with different ways to use it that makes sense, and you know, spice up different grooves, and you know, play it on top of toms or on top of, you know, the snare, and you know, finding the best ways to get that contrast, you know, between the sound that comes before it and the sound that comes after it, and yeah, those are the splashes. Can you play Misty? I can not. Let's see, Lavish D is back. I recall Lavish D. Hey Steve, what's up, Lavish D? Normalized audio is just kidding. Camera's much better. Nice. Yeah, it's the same setup, man. I'm just tweaking different settings and trying to get the chop to go away. Phoenix, yes sir. Yamaha Phoenix is one I'm playing. Let's see, normalized audio seems to be enjoying the stream. Talking about the left hand. Are you left-handed? Originally left-handed. I'm not. I'm right-handed. I just fill in a lot of stuff with the left hand, and we can go into detail on that if you guys want. That's like fun. Let's see, I'm right-handed. Folks are talking about what handed they are. Come back to earth. 2 drummers in the band. Okay, so here we go. Should have transitioned into 5/8 jazz lick, says Daryl Jefferson. I'll keep that in mind next time, Daryl. I'll be like, man, I should really transition to that 5/8 jazz lick. Let's see, get out of 4/4. Do I know Jeff Coleman? I did. I met Jeff Coleman once. I came close to subbing for his band, Cosmo Squad, because I know Shane and I know Glenn, and I guess Glenn's like he's like the go-to call drummer if Shane can't do it, and I guess Glenn wasn't available, and so I got called, and I practiced. I spent a while like practicing a lot of double bass stuff to try to do that, and it turns out they didn't need me. But man, yeah, Jeff Coleman, great rock guitar player. Latin phrases from Nigeria. Man, my Latin is so like 90s fusion wannabe, it's pretty embarrassing, but I've just accepted at this point. Hold on a second, the wife beckons. Yeah, kid.
Okay.
What's that?
I'm going to the steward.
Copy that. Okay, tell him I said hello. Bye. Ooh. Okay, we're back. Let's see. Hi from Russia. Wow, hello from Russia. Hi from. Okay, what is the club you guys play? Baked potato or something? Yes, we play the baked potato sometimes. James Hall, can you talk about single hand and foot combinations in your phrasings and fills, right and left? Single hand and foot combinations. Sure, I think I know what you mean. Let's see. Love your playing. What kind of exercise do you develop the ghost notes with your left hand? Okay, let's talk about that. Single hand and single foot combinations. That stuff's kind of fun. There's different ways to work on that. It depends, you know, like for the subdivision that you're playing. I tend to do the ladder thing, like we talked about the ladder a while ago. Daryl Jefferson's asking about this kit. This is Yamaha Phoenix, or the PHX. It's called. I love these drums. This is 10-inch. This is a 16, 22-inch kick, and the snare is an Oberlin Coolie. Talking about like hand foot, like single hand, single foot. There's like what they call the ladder, which is alternating hands and feet. So it's like right hand, left foot, left hand, right foot. Okay, right hand, left foot, left hand, right foot. So you do that over different subdivisions. So let me just demonstrate that really quick. So once you get that, alternating hands, then switch it to one hand. Just do right hand, but just continue alternating your feet. And then just do the left hand, but continue alternating your feet, right? So groups of 4, groups of 3, groups of 2 with one hand, and the feet are just always doing just alternating feet. And it's good for balance because it forces you to use all 4 of your limbs. But I like to do it like in the context of improvising and stuff. I end up kind of going to it when, if I do like a roll and then, I want to do like just a quick burst of one with the right hand only, right? Etc. So that's good for the single hand. Once you start getting into flams, single feet in between the flams, then it gets super crazy. Like I suck at that, so get ready to hear me suck at that. Ready? But I'll show you. Like if you just do like flam right left, but still continuing the single feet like in between each one, it's pretty cool. And then once you get used to that, I start to hear different phrases that kind of come out of that sticking. So if you're doing like flam right left, your left hand is going like das da das da das da da, like das da das da da, and so you start to put that on different things, and you get past the point where coordination is a problem, and you start to play like, musical phrases, hopefully, right? So I haven't played the flam stuff in a while, so it's really going to be rusty, but this is what I'm talking about. So that's what I'm talking about. Flam right, left. And just individual feet in between, just alternating feet in between, getting used to how that feels, getting used to how that sounds. Like you can see me like totally blowing it there, but you know, kind of pull it back in speed and kind of get back to one. You know, that's what you got to do. I have a friend named Derek who he blazes this hand-foot thing. He'll do separate strokes. Like I haven't done this in years, so I'm about to make a fool out of myself. But like he'll just do groups of two, right? Like one, like right, left, right, left, alternating feet in between. But he'll split up the doubles on two different drums, like right, left, right, left. So let's suck at that for a while and see if we can reduce the suckage. So there's that, separating doubles. I just noticed you can't really see on the camera. I need to get more cameras in here, you guys. I apologize for the camera angle there. It's not really good. Sorry, I keep looking at my stick. This thing's gonna break like any second. So yeah, speaking of cameras, if anyone wants to like support the channel, you know, help me upgrade this stuff, you know, hit the super button or the big smiley face or whatever. I don't know if I have it activated, but if it's activated, you can support the channel by leaving like a super sticker. So yeah, that's like single hand and foot combinations. Actually, something else really quick I wanted to mention with that is pretty cool is you know, working on like paradiddle phrases over whatever 16-note triplets or 30-second notes, and when you do like a para, you know, I end up doing like a foot. So let me find what I'm talking about, and once I find it, I'll explain. So there's that, right? Sorry, I keep turning my mic on and off here. So that's what that is, 16-note triplets, right? And what I'm doing is I'm kind of jump starting, like just improvising with phrases, right? I'm thinking like, you know, das das da das 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 da 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 da, right? So without the foot, you know, it would just be like para 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 para, you know, or para para para, but but instead of like, doing the second stroke of the paradiddle with the hand, I'm doing it with the foot, right? So let me see if I can stumble on that again, and I'll break it down and try to play it slower, okay? So that's what I'm talking about. Single strokes between hands and feet while I'm like improvising with like paradiddle based phrasing over like 16-note triplets, right? James Hall, thank you very much for the $10 donation. Really appreciate it. I have a lot of fun, for years now. I've been trying to like, using paradiddles as a way to improvise, but just the first stroke of the paradiddle or paradiddle diddle or whatever is like, that's the accent, right? So like bass, ba, ba. Actually, the thing that got me started with this was like, that classic 6/8 pattern that everyone knows, like, right, that accent, right? Right? Playing that accent pattern over like, paradiddles and paradiddle diddles kind of jump-started this whole thing for me, For example, so more of that stuff, right? Paradiddle phrasing, but I'm not thinking of it as paradiddles. I'm just trying to improvise with accents, and that's just over triplets, like that's not over like 30-second notes, like you can take the same concept and do it over 30-second notes, and it's super cool, Let's see. We know you like Vinny, but what are some licks Weckl does that inspire you? Well, the classic Weckl lick from the 90s that once I learned, it kind of jump-started things for me in terms of like, oh, okay, like, getting the triplety thing going is a phrase that I call the 9. A lot of guys do this stuff now, but it's just 16-note triplets broken up into groups of 2. But the trick is you start with 3, right? So I'll show that really quick. I'm showing this stuff like really slow eventually. Like I'm hoping someone will like transcribe this stuff and post it somewhere. So that's it. 16 note triplets starts with a 3-stroke, and then it just kind of groups of 2. Now, once I got that, I realized that the phrase kind of ends on the count of 4, so you can do whatever you want on the count of 4. Like I'm stopping, but you can do like a 6-stroke roll or like whatever you want to do on the count of 4. But this fill kind of drops you off there. Another cool thing you can do with it is you can kind of extend it and keep those groups of 2 going instead of ending it. Like when you jump start it with the 3, you start doing groups of 2, but then you keep the 2s going, right? That's kind of fun. So yeah, that fill kind of helped open doors for me in terms of, understanding the concept of 16-note triplets, breaking it up into groups of 3 and 2, and orchestrating that over the kit. This is the kind of thing where it helps to kind of write it out, because you don't want to guess and play too many notes. You don't want to guess and play too few notes. So sometimes it helps to write out like, a bar of 16-note triplets, right? So it's like 6 notes per quarter note. Just write it all out and experiment with your own combinations of 3 and 2 and different stickings. Like if it's 3, then do right, left, left, or maybe left, right, right, or whatever you want. And if it's 2, just whatever. It's a double or it's a right, left, or whatever. But yes, that answers that question. That was one of the Weckl licks that kind of blew the dam open for me a while ago. Let's see what else we got here. Thanks, Steve, for a lesson. You're welcome. Normalized audio in the chat, hands and feet. Blue Book, can't remember. I got to set up my kit. He's coming for me. Normalized audio, you're coming for me? Well, if that means you're going to practice more, then I'm all for it. It's all about practicing. Oh, man. All triplets. That's all triplets? It's all triplets. Still on 4/4. Sounds like him so far. Right, left, left, foot, right, left. Yeah, you guys can go back to the stream and transcribe it, right? Like I showed it pretty slow. Oh man, Bobby Vincent in the house. Bobby Vincent, I remember you from the streams at the old shed. This is it. This is the new room. This is the new setup. What do you think? I need like a curtain or something so we don't see my messy, my friggin' messy shelf and my air conditioner and all that stuff. We need like drapes and lighting and cameras. But we're here. We got the audio set up. We got the talkie mic and the drum mics and stuff. So I'm happy about that. Let's see. The perspective really illustrates your cymbal height. Commonality. Oh yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's all about making things making things not necessarily easy. I mean, sure, I want things to be easy, but I certainly don't want them to be hard. I don't want to make things harder for myself. So it's good. It's good to set up things. Like once in a while, man, just tear down your kit and set it up one thing, and don't set it up the way you normally do. Don't automatic pilot. Like set it up like kick and snare and hat, and like just sit there and like play a groove, and ask yourself if you need to change anything, Play different kinds of grooves. Do 2 hands on the hi-hat, like close, tight, open, sloshy, play some fills, just make sure that that's centered and comfortable, and that AC won't cool you're playing off. That's funny. Then like add one thing at a time, like put your rack tom, and man, sit on that, because that first rack tom position is so important. Make sure you're not, reaching too high, or if it's not at an angle that doesn't accommodate your stroke, like don't even put the drum up. Just like hit nothing. Just like hit nothing, and take note of the angle of your stick, and try to set up your tom to be hit at that angle, Same thing with a floor tom. and then like, ride cymbal height, is directly correlated to how old you are, for sure. The younger guys, they can kind of put it whatever you want. But I always say, like, the higher the ride cymbal, the more of the shoulder you're going to use. If you raise your arm up high, I put my hand on my shoulder, I can feel that my shoulder's doing all the work right now, like holding my hand up. But the lower my hand goes, the more my shoulder relaxes. And so if it's down here, then it's like my shoulder doesn't have to do so much work. My arms in kind of a relaxed position, and then like this motor can kind of do all the work. So yeah, cymbal setup, good times. Let's see, my wife sent me a text. She reminded me to water the plants out front, you guys. So let's not forget. All right, what else we got? Let's talk. Who else has questions? Let's talk about drumming. This is fun. Let's see, I know I never play as good as you, dude. It's not a competition, normalized auto. Just have fun, play drums, Try to get to a point where you're expressing yourself, maybe. Don't be so hard on yourself. Just keep playing, keep practicing. That floor time angle looks extreme. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of happy with this. I mean, it's hard to tell from this freaking camera. But for now, I'm good with this. Someone talked about like left-handed ghost notes. I'm kind of like on an automatic pilot with that stuff. Like I spent so much time, kind of playing with that style. And so it's kind of not good, to just do it automatically. Everything should be because it's appropriate, not just because. But really, it's just like whatever subdivision you're playing, like that's the subdivision that you fill in, or not. Like a simple thing that I think sounds kind of cool is if you're playing like a straight groove, straight meaning like straight 8th notes, straight 16th notes, nothing that's swung or triplety, but you play like a double left over 2 triplets, that kind of sounds cool, and that can be kind of a curveball that's still, it's not intrusive, but I think it's, musically interesting. Let me see if I can stumble on that and then we'll talk about it. You want to be able to, at any time, like play all the friggin' subdivisions, right? 8th notes, 8th note triplets, 16 notes, quintuplets even, you know what I mean? Just get used to filling in those notes with your left hand against the right hand playing the downbeat. That's something else that's handy. Playing a basic groove, like I'm doing, like play, goes the second and the third 16th note, like boo-da-da, like boo-da-da. And then like the backbeat, and then followed by a ghost note. The ghost note after the backbeat took me a little while to get, right? So it's like ba-ba, Sorry, it's gonna be really loud, I'll try to, like that motion, like I've spent a lot of time, like, just getting it here, and getting it here, So it might be helpful to play a basic groove and, just fill in like some basic 16ths. But the key is like practice it against quarter notes on the hat and quarter notes on the ride, and practice it against 8th notes on the hat and 8th notes on the ride, and just be able to switch to those gears, while you're still doing the filling in the ghost note thing. You know, just getting used to having, you know, that left-hand engine kind of always going. And once you develop the freedom, like, it's really fun, you guys, to be able to improvise, like, with your snare, with your left hand and your bass drum against a quarter note. You know, once you get familiar with all the subdivisions and cool stuff like breaking triplets into groups of 2 and like 5 against 2 and little buzzes with your left hand, like those things, just with the bass drum, you could just improvise with your bass drum and your left hand, playing cool phrases or trying to come up with phrases without stopping your right hand, right? Like that's fun, and you can just basically come up with fills without stopping the groove, you know? Kind of went off on a tangent at the end there, but that's the point, is you can spend time improvising with your left hand and your bass drum, but you got to have an understanding of the subdivisions. Like lately, for example, before I go into this, let's see what else folks are saying. Let's see, bottom S with the trailing ghost. Yeah, love the backbeat after the ghost after the backbeat. Let's see, 5 against 2. Man, 5 against 2s. You know, I've been trying to come up with different ways to do that. You know, that doesn't sound too crazy, although it's almost impossible just because the nature of it is crazy. But I mean, the trick to playing 5 against 2 is if you play quintuplets, which is like 5 notes per quarter note, right? And then you listen to what your right hand is doing. Your right hand's already doing 5 against 2. You know, just like if you're playing hand-to-hand 16 notes, like whatever subdivision you're doing, if you're doing hand-to-hand. If you're doing hand-to-hand eighth notes, your right hand is playing quarter notes. So is your left hand, it's just displaced, right? If you're playing 16 notes hand-to-hand, your right hand is playing eighth notes. You know, whatever subdivision you're doing, each hand is doing half, right? And so by that logic, if you're playing quintuplets, right, which is 5 notes per quarter note, right? 3, 4. Then I'm playing 10 notes, and so that means my right hand's playing 5 notes. It's just that it's over the space of 2 quarter notes, right? Evenly spaced, right? So I'll demonstrate that, super basic, and then I'll try to turn that into, like, you know, the kind of phrase that I'm talking about, you know? Now, by no means am I like nailing this, right? And you can hear the time is kind of like fluctuating as I'm doing it, right? You should really practice this stuff with a click, you guys. But I'm just kind of repeating it, so I'm like teaching my brain like what it sounds like, ba 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 ba, right? And that's why I was emphasizing the first 3 notes of that 5. They occur before the second downbeat, right? Ba ba ba, right? And so that was helpful. But the super crazy stuff is, you know, and I did that a little bit at the end. Like once you get the hang of that, 5/2. If you do it 2 times in a row, and it's 10/4, right? But again, like, you got to stay anchored, you know. And if you start alternating, you know, on just 2 different voices, and you do it 1 time, you're like, you know, snare tom. You're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then the next one is going to start on the tom, right? That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So then it sounds completely crazy because it just sounds like you're just, you know, superimposing to a new value, which technically you are, right? So if you're like, so it's just alternating, you know? But if I take away the hi-hat, it just sounds like I'm doing this. Which I am, technically. It's just over 5/2, right? And so I once I realized that, like I did this collaboration video with my friends Jeff Miley and John Flickcraft, and I did this drum solo at the end. There's this tune called May 32nd. That's the name of the tune. We released a video like a year ago. I was pretty happy with it, actually. And there's a drum solo at the end. And right at the end, like I do that. I play like, you know, 10/4, and I alternate between just like a you know, snare and crash, and then like a bass drum, and I keep it going for the whole bar. And it sounds super crazy. It's at the end of the video. I wish I could like play it for you really quick, but you're gonna have to dig it up if you want to see it. I'll see if I can stumble onto that now. Stand by. So I think you get the point, right? 5/2, splitting it up between 2 voices, and playing it twice in a row. And because it alternates, you know, the voice that you start with is not the voice you start with on that 3rd count. But the key is just internalizing how it sounds. You know, like when I'm trying to learn this stuff, you know, I sing it to myself, or I'll put on a click, I'll put on music, and I just sing it along with the music. You know, just 2 different opposing voices. That's the key. So there you go, 5/2. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see, fires are strange, that's true. All right, take on Sango Groove. I did that on a previous stream, actually. Sango Groove is, yeah, maybe we'll talk about that, we'll see. Love your sense of humor in playing. Thank you, Bobby. And I'm glad you're back, buddy. 5s are strange when you play off the hand 5s alone. Rebellious. It's clean 5s. What's the key to soloing in jazz, like trading fours? It says literally dying. Step one is not dying, actually. Trading fours, step one is not dying, but you're literally dying, and so you're already off to a rough start. Let's see. Discuss how to end off-beat doubles, where the second double falls on the beat. Oh, all right. Well, that's like super key, actually. Let's see. Bobby Vincent's talking about high school. Let's talk about trading fours, actually, and see if we can help with that, because that's a good question. What's the key to soloing in jazz, like trading fours? It's not specific to jazz. Like when someone says like trading fours, I mean, the key to trading fours is the key, whether it's jazz or whether it's any style. The question is, can you feel four bars, naturally and with confidence while you're playing anything, right? You want to develop that internal clock. You want to be able to naturally hear four bars no matter what is being played. If there's a person playing an instrument by themselves, a guitar player, piano player, bass player, whatever, and if they have good time and they're playing to a time, you want to always feel that cycle of four bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Like you need that to be so like ingrained and automatic, to the point where you can recognize it in yourself. Right, and the way to practice this is, the same way you practice anything else. Like you start simple, and you get more complicated. For example, like don't even play solos. Like just play a groove for 4 bars, and turn on a click, and have the click emphasize beat 1 of the first bar. Right, like put a bunch of sounds on there, or a big band hit or something to where like it's 1. Right, it's spoon feeding it to you, of the first bar only. And then have it cycle through the, all 4 bars, and then go back and repeat, right? And what you do is you play simple, and then once you're locked with it, and you know where 1 is, and you're hitting 1, you start to set it up, at the end of bar 4, play your fill and make sure you come out on 1. But then if you want to start to get into soloing and trading, then on the first bar, play a bar of whatever you want, but just do it for 1 bar. That's like, again, what I call like staying in the shallow end of the pool, and then go back to grooving for the bars 2, 3, and 4, and by groove, I mean like whatever, swing time, whatever time is called for the style that you're practicing, and keep it simple. The important thing is keeping track of those 4 bar phrases. And even if you stop playing, like you still want to account for the time, and so that your internal clock doesn't stop. Like you see when I'm improvising, sometimes I'll stumble onto something, or I don't come out right, and I may stop. But when I come back, it's still in time, because I always want to be on that grid, So let me try to demonstrate that, I guess. And I guess we can do like some swing stuff, since that was the context of the question. And the more complicated the phrasing, obviously, the harder it is to feel. That's the thing. I spent a lot of time listening to these pro players, and it takes a while just to feel the phrasing. Like it really, I mean, for me anyway. I mean, speaking for myself, you just have to get used to what it sounds like when someone just stays in 16-note triplets for 4 bars, or stays in 16 notes or whatever, and then starts to go between them. You just want to be able to feel the phrasing, and hopefully the person that's playing is kind of, it's on them to spell out the time even though they're soloing. That's important. It's on you to spell out the time while you're soloing, So, geez, I guess I'll make a fool out of myself and I don't know, play some swing time and like do some basic 4 bar stuff, Please don't hate me if this is horrible. Now it occurred to me while I was playing that I was probably playing 8 bars because my time was so fast, right? So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. Right, and that goes by really fast because in swing time, you know, that's the case, as opposed to like, when you're playing, something that's backbeat oriented, chances are you're not going to start that fast. But that's my fault. So let's see if we can slow it down and actually play 4 bars, right? So sorry about that. It's super crappy playing, right? But the point is like I'm trying to stay in time and keep track of those 4 bars because that's the goal, right? And the goal is the most important thing. And I'm trying not to do the thing that I normally do, where it's like I get sucked into like 6/8 phrasing and straight phrasing and stuff, I try to keep it simple and stop occasionally because that's one thing I mentioned. Is like even if you stop, like the time keeps going, So that's how I would start with that. But also keep in mind, it's like when you're playing jazz, it's not just trading 4s. The amount of bars that you trade is going to be dictated by the form. So for example, if you're playing a blues, then it's like you're trading 4s, and it's like, well, you start trading. If the soloist goes first, then the second form, it's like you might be going first. That kind of thing. So you want to pay attention to that. But just keep it simple. Turn on a click, emphasize 1, and get that internal clock going. That's my advice, and don't play like I just played. That was horrible. Okay, we're gonna wrap it up here soon. So let's see what else we got. Some of other you guys are playing in 4s. Choo choo. Nice cut time. Yeah, Steve's stunting on him. Man, I suck. I'm so like rusty with the swing stuff. I need to get like my guys in here and play some music. Floor tom is not going to be ignored. Yeah, tell me about it. I love my floor tom. Spelling out the time. Yes, got to spell out the time. And if you start playing, kind of crazy phrasing, then you gotta give like a big 1 so people know, so musicians know, where your time is. Because actually, even if you are spelling out the time, other musicians may not have the ability to feel, 60-note triplets for 4 bars, and so you got to kind of spoon feed the downbeat at least. Or actually, that's why. Whenever I'm improvising, I try to keep that hi-hat quarter note going. That's another thing that's really important, you guys. I always try to keep that hi-hat quarter note going, so that the time is conveyed, and that takes some practice. You have to kind of work on that because obviously it's a coordination thing, and if you find that some phrases are difficult to do while tapping your left foot, then just slow it down and just attack, like play that phrase over and over, and like stomp your left foot, or do the slosh, like my hi-hat's being squeaky today. That 60-note triplets in groups of 2 we talked about earlier, doing that and keeping the hi-hat going for me, it took a little bit of work, and my time is still kind of iffy when I do that, but improvising, not stopping the hi-hat, super important. All right, let's use that as an excuse to blow some more. that's me trying to spell out like 1 every 4 bars, keeping the hi-hat going, you know. And that's just going between different subdivisions, improvising, and going in and out of like, you know, like triplets and whatever, all the stuff we've been talking about. It's just basically hitting the on button and kind of stringing them together, keeping the quarter note going and improvising, right? Like that's something that I enjoy doing. So that's how we do that. What else we got? Steve, Altered is over. Altered is not over. We just don't have anything booked, and obviously the pandemic, you know, kind of slowed things up. But we haven't like officially broken up or anything. We just haven't been doing anything recently, and I'm on a kind of a streaming kick, you know. Let's see, those little swingy examples were tasty. Thank you. Love the drag leading into the B. Okay, don't 5 me on the way out. Very good. Thumbs up. Okay. I think we're caught up on the chat. So we've been going for a while here. I'm going to do a little more playing, and then we're going to call it. Okay. So thanks a lot for hanging out, you guys. If you want to support the channel, support the stream, hit the super, and let's continue to upgrade. We got the sound going. We need to get some cameras and some lights, and you know, it'll be fun. So I'm going to turn it on some more. Just going to repeat myself over and over like I always do, but I appreciate you guys hanging out. All right? Until next time. Okay. The old stumble on a theme and be like, yeah, I think we can close with that. Right? Stick with it. Get quiet. Put it down. I'm trying, you guys. Thanks for hanging out. My name's Steve Holmes. Maybe we'll be on next Sunday. We'll see. Unfortunately, I'm not like scheduling anything because I don't know if I'll be able to do it. So I'm hesitant to like schedule and then like, oh, I can't do it. So we'll see. Maybe we'll get there. If you want to support the channel, hit the super. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Okay. Thanks a lot for hanging out, you guys.